Lovely. I'm just gonna, I'm gonna, I'm gonna get my get the sheet music up on my phone. So give me 1 second, and then we will start looking at this tune. Has anyone had a go at it so far?
Yes,
Yeah.
ish.
How are you getting on, Christine?
It wasn't as bad as I thought, and it's a nice tune, I must admit.
Mm. Yeah.
So, as long as we don't play it too fast, I'll
No,
be all right.
we'll go for it nice and slowly, and I think it's kind of it's not terribly complex, but there is a lot you can get out of this. This is one of those tunes that I sit and play for like I probably could sit and play this for like 15 minutes on end. I think it's a very beautiful tune. So I'm gonna as that your doggos, Christine.
Yeah, I've got two, and yeah, she's just seen something. So, yeah.
Okay, so what I will do to start the session, I'll just play a bit of the tune. I'll give you a little go through it. Um, so also, Christine, have you been to any like online music workshops before at all?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, grand. So you know how we do it. I teach by playing a little bit to you. We all mute our microphones. If you've got a question, you can like unmute and say hello. But we tend to like I'll play it back to you, you play it back to me, kind of that kind of thing. So we're all able to play as and when we want. Um, so I will, yeah, mute yourself. All mute. That lovely. And so yeah, this is Nina by Cyril Brotto. Oh, Nigel. Yeah,
And make your camera needs to point down a little bit
of
so we can
course
see
it does.
your box, and a bit lower, and to one side so we can see the bases eventually, but not yet.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll center
Right.
myself. There we go.
Bullseye. Okay,
Beautiful.
okay.
Okay, so Nina. Lovely. So that is a tune we'll be learning for the next few weeks. Start off with. So the piece we're playing in, the key that we're playing in is A minor. So that will mean that we're going to be mostly playing out of the inside row of our instrument. So when we play in A minor, we tend to play on the G row. A minor tends to sit mostly on the pull, so it's kind of quite pull centric on the inside row. It's one of the keys we can play on our DG Melodian without too much trouble, A minor. And we'll get to learning our first phrase. So, and you'll notice I've written this out quite normally, just straight. But this tune, we're going to play it with a swing. Right, because if I played it straight, but with a swing, so it will be sound slightly different to how it's written. Does that make sense? I would say the best thing to do to get used to that, if you're having trouble, is listen to the tune. I believe Nigel sent out a lot of recordings of this, loads of different versions. And yeah, if you just feel that and listen to it, you'll understand that it's got that kind of lilt to it. like all the, yeah, we're kind of going long, short kind of thing. So our first phrase, we're going to be all on the pull, and I'm going to put my fingers, so if we're on a third button start, I'm going to have them on buttons 3, 4 and 5 of my inside row. If I'm on a fourth button start, that'll be 1 up, 4, 5 and 6. And what I'm going to do is to start off with, I'm going to be all pulling, and I'm going to go E, C, B, C. When I play the B, my ring finger is dropping down to that outside row. Middle fingers stay where it is. So I'll play that to you, you play it back to me. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Again, 1, 2, you play it with me, I mean. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. One, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Couple more times. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And one more. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So and refresh those fingers. So I've got my fingers on buttons 3, 4 and 5. My ring finger drops. When I play that B on the pull, my ring finger just slides down to get that B. See that little slide down? So that ring finger's going from the E to the B. Okay, how are we getting on with that? Great? Everyone feeling alright with that? You'll find, so this tune is, I've written it very much, mostly on the pull, because you know, you could push and pull that, but I think it really loses some of its feel if you do that. So a lot of this I've written out crossing the rows. And that will also help with the chords we want to play and getting a nice smooth feel to it. And now we have a lovely little tumbly little phrase. So I'm going to do it a bit at a time for you. So we've got our first phrase. We're playing, what happens here is our ring finger comes down to the outside row. So our ring finger's on the B on the pull. And we're going to go ring finger, middle finger on the C on the inside. B, C, B. So, and then we're going to play G and E with our middle and our ring. And then finally playing A with our middle finger. So it's almost like position-wise, our fingers have dropped from being on buttons 3, 4, and 5 on the inside row to we're playing out of buttons 3, 4, and 5 on the outside row. If that makes sense, we've kind of dropped our fingers down. So, everybody want to have a go at playing that phrase with me? So I'll count us in. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And again, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And again, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And yeah, when you come over to get that A on the pull, we're going to try using your index finger. So hold on. No, I'm wrong. Middle finger. Sorry, that was my mistake. Middle finger will make that easier. Yeah. So I'm ending on my middle finger there on the A on the pull. And then, yeah, I'll play that to you. Try it with me a couple more times. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. One, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then we'll try our next section. So we have a nice little bar which is just three notes. So we've got B with our ring finger, then C with our middle again, and then our A finger for our A is already in position. We'll bring it to position is our index finger. So play that with me. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Again. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to try. We'll try and put that with the last phrase. So we have. But to do that, we'll just refresh ourselves with the last phrase. So the last phrase. So. And then putting it all together. Oh. try that with me if you like. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And again. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And one more time. Oh, I've got that wrong. Okay, how are we all finding this so far, guys? I'm getting a big thumbs down from Gregory. How are you getting on, Greg? You all right?
Yeah, it's doing my brain in. I was fine on the first bit, and I was fine playing the second bit, and then put them together, and it's like the whole thing went out the window, and I've got about 10 feet and 10 toes going at it.
Yeah, it's a bit of it's a kind of phrase that feels like it tumbles over itself a little bit. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll go through. Oh, Nigel, what were you going to say? Oh, yeah, you muted,
Yeah,
mate.
no, we've got time, haven't we, for Greg to go, for you and Greg and the rest to go over it. I reckon I'll shut up, right?
No, that's all right. To be honest with you, like this tune, because we're doing the A part today, there's not a huge amount of melody to get through, so I think we have time to go over stuff, defo. Yeah. So, yeah, if we do it, we'll go through it. So we're putting them together now. So I'll talk you through it. So we start this 2-bar phrase, a ring finger on the outside playing our B. Okay, let's get that bit. Beautiful. And then our middle finger comes up and catches the A on the pull on the inside row. And then this is what might catch you out for the next phrase, is that basically we're going to be playing our B with our ring finger still, but then the middle finger has to shift over to get the C. So you see the middle finger's currently here, it shifts over to get that C, and then the index takes its place. So then the middle finger, see, it kind of skips over, skips there. And I think that's what can cause a bit of confusion in that. So again, have my middle finger there, and then I'm playing my B. Index comes over to get the C, and then the your index finger can come over to slot in there. So your middle finger's done that kind of thing of just like crossing from one to another. Has that helped or illuminated somewhat? Do you want me to go over that again at all? No? Oh, you're muted, Greg.
Yeah, could you just do it again really slowly, like
really slowly, absolutely.
one note at a time? Only because I think it's it's also the transmission, so it's difficult to sometimes see your finger just with a slight
totally. Okay,
delay.
so doing the sequence, we've got our B, then we play our C, our middle finger comes over for that, and then we're going to go B, G, E with our fingers down as a row. And then the confusion begins when we play the last note of that bar, the A, where we come up with our middle finger. And then, from there onwards, I'm playing B with my ring. And then I come over to play the C, I come over with my middle. So I'm just going to share my screen quickly. Just sharing my screen very quickly. So what will be easier if you're getting confused on that, Greg, might be to be, if you see where I've highlighted, if you think about playing it from there, that first note there, the A, that's where our middle fingers come up to get that A. And so that's, so we play that A, and then when we get to that C there, that's when we move our middle finger across. So we play that with our middle finger. And that one will be with its index. Hope that's illuminated. Has that helped? Okay. I'm just going to stop the share in a second. Stop now. So has that helped and made a bit of sense for you there, Greg? Good. Brilliant. I'll try and post like a slow video of this as well. But lovely. So that we've got that whole phrase there, those 4 bars. That is making up most of the tune we're learning today. Because I've got a little bit of a different ending to it, but like what I'd love is us to have a little go at playing through those. So I'm going to play the first 2 bars. Remember, we're starting on our inside row on buttons 3, 4 and 5 with our first 3 fingers. On the pull. Our ring finger popping down to get the B. So play that to you, you play it back to me. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And again. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And again. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now let's try putting it with the next phrase. And don't worry if you don't get this perfect or fall off. You'll have plenty of time to practice, and we'll be going over this over the next few weeks as well. So I'm going to go for the first full 4 bars. So we'll just refresh the 3 bars 3 and 4 quickly. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Ah, sorry, I got that wrong. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. again. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And now let's try those 4 bars together. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Beautiful, beautiful. There's some. You all stop your bellows in time there. You all like that. Looked very regimented. I loved it. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And again, one more time. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. All right, team, how are we getting on with this? Getting some thumbs? Yeah, doing all right. Lovely stuff. Great. Well, I think if we look at the next 3 bars, they're exactly the same. So the next 3 bars, we have the next 2 bars. We have that again. So just play that back for me. We'll have those same 2 bars. So and now we have a little bit of interesting syncopation to finish off this bar, this A part. So we've had our so this bar, you'll notice we've got a little quaver rest there. We will see that. So rather than playing this, we have so that it's almost like that. It just comes a little bit late, and that feels delicious. Very one of the feels of a mazurka is almost like you're tripping forward and having this swing to it. Feels loose, like when you dance it, you're often leaning onto a foot like this, and I think that is very emblematic in how this is written. So. Sorry. So what we'll do is we'll play first off those 2 bars preceding. And then, tell you what I'm going to do, just so you can hear that. We'll play that bar on its own, but because it's starting on a rest, I'm just going to smack my melodeon, smack the soundboard there, so that will give us like the starting beat. And then that takes us, well, what I'm playing there actually takes us to the last bar, which is just like one long B. If you look at that final bar of the piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to smack my melodeon, and you'll hear that as like the first beat of the bar. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. One, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
Sorry, can I just I can get the little three, that little bit going up. Can you just show us which fingers you're using to come down?
Yeah, absolutely, Greg. So
Sorry.
that's all right. Thanks for asking. Never feel afraid to ask in these because if you're wondering it, someone else probably is as well. That's what I always say. Yeah, so I'm coming up with me just 3 fingers normally like that. 1, 2, 3. And then you'll find, well, if you're playing on a 2-row, you'll have to push at this point. I mean, Greg, yourself, you might actually have a D pull, so you might be able to do this on the pull, but if not, you just play that D on the same. There's a quick little D with a finger. And then I play my C. I don't really change much, to be honest. The only thing, when we play that final note, the B, I play that on the pull and my ring finger drops down to get it. So we've done a bloody awful lot of pulling, actually. We might have to address this in the chords that we do. We'll think about this. So now I would like us to try doing these last 4 bars. So that will sound like this. Oh, hold on, lost it. So like this, 1. That's what our last few bars sound like. A little play, and then I'll do it together. So we go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And again, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Also, I will just say, I'll show you a little variation that I might suggest, because I hate it when you're playing a melodian tune, right? And you have, and when you have that one note on, very quick note on the push when you're mostly on the pull, that being this D, I think it can make things feel very clunky. So that's how I've written it out. But you know what I might do, and it's absolutely fine to do, is just whacking in a C there instead. Oh, hold on, I've made it all go weird. Hold on. Let me just sort this out. Yeah, what I could do there instead is I could just make that. And that will mean that you don't have to push that very quick D. Rather than, you might like that D. It's easier if you have a free, like a reversal. But I find changing that DC to a C, just like making it just one normal quaver rather than two semiquavers. That is an absolutely fine change that you can put in, and you might find that you prefer that. Neither way is really right or wrong, I think. Because this is a thing, like when you're playing tunes, that when you have just a very quick push note in a load of pulls, it can feel on melodian very interrupting and frustrating. Lovely. So I mean that takes us pretty much, that's the whole of the melody for this first A part. How are we all feeling? Let's have a little check-in with everyone. Get some big thumbs from Val, get big solid thumb from Nigel, big thumb from Dave, and a floating thumb in a bubble. Lovely, great, beautiful. Christine, how are you getting on with this?
Yeah, it's okay. It needs some practice, but yeah, I've got the hang of it.
Brilliant. You'll get the recording of this. Nigel will send you a recording tonight of this whole session. So if there's any bits you want to go over, you'll have that as a resource you can return
Great.
to. Greg, how are you doing?
Yeah. If I could work my computer and unmute myself. It's fine. Yeah, I'm making better progress than the first tune. Because we're now nearly halfway through, and I'm just that little bit with that reversal, because I've got the reversal on the D.
Yeah.
But then I'm landing back on that B on not on my ring finger, but on my little finger. But I don't know whether that sets
On
me.
your little finger. I mean, you know what, Greg. If you make it work, that's fine. I don't mind. I mean, I would have never ended up with my little finger there, but but you know what? If that's working for you, I mean, I don't. I can. It depends how your accidentals are going to be laid out as to whether So if that works, as long as you can get back to. Personally, I'd find that difficult because I'm then coming up to get my E.
Well, I was wondering if it's setting me up for a problem. Yeah.
So you could try
what you do with the left hand, doesn't it, as opposed to how you play your right hand, really.
I can do, absolutely, and we'll definitely talk about that because I realise I've written this out with no push in it.
Yeah.
Oh, I keep doing this, guys. I keep doing this in my lessons and having to like change it. We will look into that, but that's something we can work out together. Don't worry. But yeah. So I would say one thing you can always try, Greg, is that I find when you're playing stuff with your third row, sometimes it's even like sliding a finger down. I mean, where is your D pull in relation to you? Yeah. See, what I would do there is if your D falls quite nicely onto your C.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would it's not the same as my one, but you like slide down like that.
Okay.
That would mean that you can have your ring finger on your B.
On the B.
That will mean that you have when you go to the start of the tune again, your finger's going to be a bit of an easier position to.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So yeah, that's what I would suggest. Okay.
Mark, I think Christine, are you muted, Christine?
Sorry.
Okay.
I'm burbling. Sorry.
What was that, Nigel? Did you want me to just mute everyone? Was it?
No, Mark. It's just Christine wasn't muted. It's fine.
All right. Okay. Cool. Right. Let's crack on. So yeah, this is great. I think we're smashing through this. What we'll do is we'll have a little play through this. We'll play through it twice. We'll do it with a repeat. All right. So I'm going to do this twice with repeat. No, we're going to do it all the way through with a repeat. So we'll go to the end and we'll repeat. We'll acknowledge the two dots at the end, and we'll see how we get on, and then we'll chat, and then we'll look at some basses maybe. So I'm going to count us in. I'm going to play the A part of Nina. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 1. And I'll go slower than that. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's once through. How was that for everyone? Was that bit quick, bit slow? I'm going to try it slower because I think I kind of rushed that even though I slowed it down. I'm going to try that again. We'll do it. We'll go through it. We'll loop it twice with repeats. So I'll go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Again. 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 Okay. How do we find that, guys? How are we getting on? Okay, some solid thumbs.
So Mark, it's the syncopation in that penultimate bar that's catching me out.
Yeah, it'll do that. Yeah. Yeah. No. I mean, to be honest with you, like what I find, and like even in just like teaching this in this lesson, I feel like I'm having to think about that and when you have to think about it, I think that's kind of you kind of like where does it start? Where does it start? I think once you kind of like totally. Once you kind of put your is it David? Are you one of the people who uses like MuseScore to like listen back to things?
I use ABC notation, but on MuseScore,
Like, do you have like a MIDI you can play back?
Yeah.
I'd find that really helpful for this because that will, or like listening to how some of these people play it. I mean, not everybody puts that bit of syncopation in, which is irritating, but like listening to like a MIDI of it can be very helpful for like what I would say for this kind of thing. It's much better to listen and get it in your head than like because it can be a real struggle to get that to because even now I feel like I'm tripping over it because I'm thinking too hard about it. What I would say, let's have a look. So, we can count it together. Let's count it. I'll count it. So I'm going to go from. I'm going to go from that last A. So that lasts for 2 beats. So that's going to be 2, 3. Actually, no, I'll do it in 2 and 3 and that'll help. So 2 and 3 and because we start that next phrase on the one and, so the and of the one. So I'm going 2 and 3 and I'm going to confuse myself now. So hold on, 2 and 3 and 1, 2 and 3 and 1. I don't know if that helps. That's not helping me, but. the bass might, when we put it in, might make it easier or might complicate it 10 times. We don't, but that will mean you have something keeping time at least. Just hearing that little breath. So 1, 2, 3, 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. Was that helpful, David? I feel like I was just talking garbage at you there, but like that's good.
Just repeating it, and I think
Yeah.
particularly that going from the to the A in the penultimate bar.
Cool. All right.
I like the D, so I'm trying to get that D in. So
Nice. Excellent. Cool. I was gonna say, yeah, if you ever like, this is a main piece of advice for learning music in general, is the most useful thing. Obviously, sheet music's great. What is even better is having a recording you can listen to. So like, obviously, if you can use Musical or ABC and you can put it into like a MIDI and play back to you, that's great for just getting the bare bones of it. I often, if I'm learning a tune from someone, I'll always get them to record it slowly on my phone or whatever. But having something, learning something that, I mean, when you look at it on the sheet music, that's one step removed from what we're actually doing, which is sound. So I think if you've got it in your head, that's always the most helpful thing, I find at least. Yeah. All right. Well, I think we should have a little bit of a talk about basses for this. Yeah, great, lovely. Well, so it's not too much. It's not going to be too complex. It's going to be what I will say to start off with. I'm looking at this array of lovely wooden boxes in front of me, and I feel like most of you will have removable ferns in your basses. Is that correct? Okay, not across the board. That's absolutely fine. So Christine, you haven't got any stops on your left hand or anything. Can't hear you there.
Not at the moment. I might have, well, actually, I could if I got my big box out, my Trilly. But no, I might have in February, but at the moment, no.
Okay, well, in that case, what I'll do is, because I'll teach this, because you can play all these chords with your thirds in. I'll show both versions because I think. But yeah, you guys out there with your removable thirds, you might have a lot of fun with this. There might be a lot you can do. You can also play it completely with them in. Looks like, I mean, David definitely does. Val looks like Val does as well. Nigel does. Greg, do you have removable thirds in your bass?
I have no thirds in my box.
Oh, already out. No worries about that then. Great. Of course, you've got the old
Carousel.
Carousel, yeah. He doesn't really put them in, does he? So, great. Lovely stuff. Yeah. So, before we start adding some bass to this tune, I thought we'd just have a little play around with how this can sound. I'm liking for this when I play this just a nice ba 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 ba. But I like it to feel spacey and light. So we're not going. We're going to have like a little footsteps in the snow kind of basses. So what we'll do is we'll find. So the bass, because we're in A minor, the bass that I'm playing for this is a typical A minor chord, which will be. There's two ways to do this. So if you have removable thirds, you can either play it just a normal A bass, but you can also play. Hold on. You can normally play your A bass, but with a C chord. Hold on. Oh. Hold on. There we go. And that gives us an A minor 7, putting an A bass with a C chord. So that's what I'm going to be So everybody found that okay? A bass, C chord. And that's when we're playing in A minor. That's the chord we tend to use as our home chord. And what we're going to do is I'm going to do some umpiring, but I want you to do it with me. We're just going to go out and I'll just pull our bellows out. We want, as I say, light, like little footsteps, you know, or raindrops, something very light and delicate. Just light, just tapping my buttons. And we can get a lovely, lovely, chill, floaty sound, just doing it nice and slow. And again, I'm not putting loads of power into this. I'm pulling my bellows very lightly. So I'm being nice and light with my fingers, putting them on, and then they're coming straight off. They're not leaving them down. How is that feeling for everyone? All right, yeah, it's making sense. That's good. So when I play this, as I say, I keep this kind of rhythmic 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. But sometimes what I do, say for example, this first 2 bars, which is all just A minor. Sometimes, rather than going pa pa pa, I'll sometimes do this. I'll just go. I'll go pa 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 pa. Just keep the pars coming. Just, I feel like that gives a very light feel to things and kind of takes a little bit of emphasis off the notes, like that second bar. And so I think, so you can play around with that if you want. It might, I often play like this. I'll go like. Just keeping the pars coming, do it round, so like, so only having an every 2 bars, if that makes sense. I like the feel of that. I think it kind of, it means that you're getting a big pulse a little bit less regularly, and I think it just suits the kind of slinkiness of this tune. But yeah, bass wise, let's have a little go. We're going to be playing our A minor bass, and we're going to be playing that first 2 bars. And we're keeping our basses light, airy. Footsteps on the snow. Okay. And I can play that in, I'll count that in and we can try that together. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And again, 1, 2. Tell you what, I'm going to 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 us in, and I'm just going to loop those 2 bars for a little while. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, how's that speed for everyone? Okay, let me know if it's too quick. I can always slow it down. I always need reminding of that. Um, how are we finding our umpiring? Is that slotting in nicely with the tune?
I just need to practice.
Yeah, no worries.
Oh,
What I always say, one of the pieces of advice I always give for when if you're struggling to find which basses go where, what I would do is I tend to I'll go through my sheet. Say we're playing a tune here where it's 1 2 3 1 2 3. I would circle where does the first beat land, so that would be the E. Where does the second beat land, the B, and then the third beat, the E again. And I tend to just circle those notes and know that that's where the bass falls. For the umpiring, I find that always helps me quite a lot if I'm trying to. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I just find it easier to really get the tune under my fingers, because then I don't need to concentrate on that so much while I concentrate on the bass part.
Absolutely. I think that's
how I tend to work.
Yeah, it's kind of like if you play guitar, it's easy to get the singing or the guitar good first before you try to add them together. So yeah, definitely. Let's have a look at the next bit. So we've got our next section. We've got so I'm playing. This is one of my favourite melodeon chords. It's E minor over a C. Everyone just find that and just sit in that for a little while. Lovely, floaty, dreamy, beautiful chord. And gorgeous. So that is an E minor chord over a C bass, which gives us what we call C major 7. Major 7 chords have this beautiful, dreamy quality to them. Which, yeah, so that's what we'll be playing there. And we're just gonna try that bass. So we're just going C bass, E minor chord. I've also just noticed the time, Nigel, so I'll try and wrap it up in the next 5 minutes. Is that all right? Cool. So. I'm just doing normal umpiring again, but you C and then E. And then, yeah, so we've gone from our A minor to our C, E, and I've written this as one bar of E over C. But I actually don't like that very much. I would just do both of those bars as E minor over C. Bars 3 and 4. I think E minor. I mean, that's what I would do. See what you like, but I think that chord is lovely, and I'd like to sit in it a little bit longer. So yeah. Lovely stuff. So that gives us our first 4 bars, which I'm going to play for you, and you can try and play along with me. So we'd have this. Yeah, so. actually, moving back to that E minor does also sound quite good. So do whichever you prefer.
Mark,
Hiya.
can I just clarify this E minor C again?
Yes.
It's an E minor chord with a C note.
Yes.
Right, sorry. I am.
That's all right. So when
Just go back there. That's lovely.
that's all right. When we write chords out, tend to do the chord and then whatever the last thing is. So if it's a slash over something, it's kind of means on top of. That slash means on top of. So the lowest note will be the C. So I kind of think of it as like E minor on top of a C because the bass is lower. Yeah, you're kind of putting it on top of that C. So yeah. So yeah, for all of that, as I say, we take our way. That takes us all up for the first 6 bars. We're using just A minor, E minor, A minor. And then when we get to our then we get to that problem bar with a little bit of syncopation in it. So what we could do here, I've written 2 different potential chords here. I've written D minor and F. So if you've got removable thirds, you can just play a normal D chord, and that could potentially be a D minor. D major actually works really well there. So D major works as well. Sounds quite bright actually. I've written an F. That's because if you have an F, which I mean, it seems like we're mostly on 8 bases, so Greg might have an F. Greg does, lovely stuff. So do I, but like, unfortunately, it's not that standard. So you'll be able to use your F there, Greg. That would be very nice. But otherwise, using a D there, I think the D major. I've written D minor there. I actually think D major sounds very good. When it comes to doing that with the oh, got to shoot, David. All right, see you, David. Take care. Bye. See you next time. With when it comes to getting that in time as well, what I would suggest is let's try that bar. But we'll do it with just the umpire as well, because if you start that umpire, that will give you like your 1. That'll give you that first beat. So it'd be like 1. Lovely. And kind of rushing through it at the end here, but let's talk about the issue of where to put some like breath in. Okay, I've got 2 solutions for you. The first one I'm not that keen on, because so when we get to that final chord for that fight, I would like it to be an E minor there. That's a pull note, so I want to pull there. But what you can do, and when you hear a lot of people play this tune, they play it like this, and I think the video Nigel sent out of Jamie Huddleston definitely does this. Hear that lovely little, like, cutting that A. You can leave that A just hanging, and that gives you a load of space. So let's listen to this. And that's a perfect time to put your bellows in. So does that make sense? That's what I would start doing. It's like that final, those little dotted, those little hollow minim A's. We could totally, if I share my screen, we could make them really short and staccato, and all of that, you know, like all of that space there could be like that could be one long breath if you wanted it to be. And that could be where you push your bellows in. And I think the way we've learnt this tune, I feel like it's a tune where you're like creeping along. So I think having that little bit of silence and pushing your bellows in will sound really good. I realise we've overrun quite a bit, so I'll bring us to a close there. Any final questions on this? We'll obviously revisit this tune over the next couple of weeks. I'm going to stop recording now. So give me 1 second. Stop recording.